came a hush and a faraway sound. 'Twas the coxswain he roared, all survivors on board, thank God, and we're homeward bound to carry them home, home, home from the sea. Angels of mercy, answer our plea, and carry them home, home, home from the sea. Carry them safely home from the sea. Home, home, home from the sea. Angels of mercy, answer our plea, and carry them home, home, home from the sea. Carry them safely home from the sea.
The Puffin bit the dust.
Just had a Puffin and a Razorbill fly by the starboard end of the boat there. Puffins, they're not really the most aerodynamic of birds, and now the reason behind this is because these birds are actually much more equipped to go diving, to go swimming, and that is where they're going to be finding all of their food. If you are looking up at these puffins in the air, and you can also see a view of birds them sitting up on the island, sort of like the puffin. But you will see a bird that has a rectangular shaped bill. It's a black rectangular shaped bill. It's not a pointy bill, and that is the Razorbilled Auk. So Captain Mark is taking us into Gull Island Cove here, which is a really nice part of the island, a beautiful piece of geology in here. Oh, I saw an eagle. I can see an eagle up there further along the island. So, should have lots of bird activity up in the sky. And while we're in this cove, I'll just let you all listen to the puffin. They're able to attach fish to these little sharp points on their bill, able to pin the fish to these little hooks, and then that's how they're able to carry so much fish back and forth from the boat and the water. So they have to make less frequent trips back and forth to the grocery store to feed their hungry chick. The common murre color is eggs, and it has some black and brown markings on it as well. And all of the markings on these eggs are all completely unique. They're unique to each female, who will lay the same pattern on her egg every year that she comes back here to reproduce. And that's how they're able to identify which egg is theirs. The common murre. And the diving sea murre. Puffins can dive down to depths of 200 to 300 feet when they are looking for food. And then the common murre, they can go down twice as deep to depths of 600 feet. So they are tremendous divers. Eagle up there further along the island. And in there at 4 o'clock, two eagles. There we go, 4 o'clock. One just left the island, and it's flying up there above the grass line. And there's another one that sat down up there. You can just see it is right at our 4 o'clock position, and it does have that white head of the bald eagle. So, Gull Island Cove, very comfortable out there. That is their natural habitat. Lots of them up flying around in the air as well. And you can also see a few of them sitting up on the island as well. And if you are looking up at these birds in the air, all of these birds that I've been talking about so far, they're a diving seabird. The kittiwakes, the puffins, and the common birds, we only have them here during their breeding season. And all of these birds, they will head right out to the open Atlantic. You actually wouldn't recognize. The puffins are one of the few birds that actually will shed and lose the orange color in their bill around the fall of the year in October. So I'm thinking somewhere in the 2 to 3 o'clock range is probably where we're gonna have the whale pop up. But as I keep telling you all, when we're whale watching with inky whales, they're very elusive, very erratic in their movements. It could be that they pop up anywhere around the boat.
Éisc, the land of fish. Irishmen, youngsters, enticed by the promise of wages, freedom, adventure, from the farms and villages of the southeast counties to a life of pulling codfish from the icy waters of Éisc, the land of fish. In one spring alone, 6,000 men sailed from Waterford. Sailing ships would arrive here to stock up on salt beef and pork. Waterford in many ways resembles St. John's. The names on the storefronts are all Newfoundland names too.
So many of our people came from the Shore Valley.
The landscape is very different. In other respects, the people, their accent, their attitudes, their ways changed more in Ireland than some of the communities in Newfoundland.
It's a different type. It is a wild, rugged country. First people, how they adjusted. Their first winters and their first springs. People who left these shores to cross the Atlantic Ocean 200 years ago. A perilous voyage across the Atlantic, 6 or maybe 8 weeks in those days, settling in on the rugged coastline of Newfoundland. Tremendous tribute to their genius and their desire for survival.
The edge of the western world, the sea, would be their treasures, and built their homes from the trees of the forest and became Newfoundlanders.
Extra white, Igor.
Salt cod was a staple food throughout Europe. The Newfoundland fishery was a lucrative business. Farmers became fishermen.
My father
There's really an Irish part in this.
Well, the Monday morning, my father would give you the work to do right from Monday till Saturday. If you hadn't have done when you were eating your supper, he'd want to find out the reason why you didn't do it.
He was pretty strict.
I appreciate it for that today. There's a lot of meals you can put on the table won't cost you any money. Like growing a vegetable, a bit of fish, I have some cattle, I had pigs, burns no oil, none at all. Get up at 12 o'clock when the capelin be coming in. The vast majority of people had dowries. Come home at 4 o'clock, you wouldn't have very much tea. Catch the handles of a plough and plough till 9 o'clock in the night. And if you hadn't a plough, you'd be using a grow. Well, that's the only thing the people survived on that time. There was plenty of cattle here, all kinds of cattle, all kinds of sheep. No, I'm not going to stop until my legs give out, and then I'll have to stop.
Could Rosella O'Rourke make the accordion speak? Then there was always people to dance, good dancers there. There'd be others, you pick them up, you know, among the crowd, all hands at heaven. Yes, the most of them came from Ireland. I left home when I was 18 and came here to teach school. I was 4 years teaching, and I met up with Ned Brennan, and we got married. Then he was a fisherman, and you had to work at the fish, wash it out of bait, out of the different, get down, your back would be tired in the evening after washing the fish. And then we'd have to mow down the hay and make it. And we had cows, chickens and hens, and then I had a garden, a nice garden at the back of the house, a big bed of savoury, lots of roses, and they spread so much. A lovely bed of flowers. But I remember one time, right across from one head to the other, about 17 or 18, big Buren bankers, they called them, the big sails up on them, so the occasionally get a bit of money. Now the trap man from across the bay come, perhaps with his crew, and he'd fish there the whole summer. Oh yes, indeed he would, sir. Wash out the fish and dry it. We dried fish, dried on flake, and then in the fall, boat would come from St. John's and take all the dried fish.
Or you can continue around the bay.
area known as the English Shore. In August of 1610, John Guy, with 38 men, established the oldest English settlement in Canada by London and Bristol merchants. In one of his letters says it was because of the goodness of the harbour, the goodness of the soil, and the largeness of the trees. A little bit remote, they were trying to avoid places like St. John's, where there were a lot of migratory fishermen.
We would leave for the banks at that time about May. One schooner from the company you was out from would come in to pick up all the men. There would be probably 7 or 8, probably 10 schooners from that company. So one schooner or 2 schooners would come up and pick up the men, you know, take them all aboard. I've seen so much as 100 men at Grand Bank, you know, enjoying the schooner you were going on. And then we'd what we call fit up. We'd stick up our gear, you know, get it ready. We put gingins on the lines, then put hooks on the gingins, and we'd have trawl tubs, 4 tubs in the dory. When we get our fitted out in Grand Bank, take on supplies. We'd be there probably a week fitting out and get a supply of bait. And we'd fish about 4 baitings in the spring, which would be the spring trip. We'd go off on the Grand Banks. You'd be off probably 200 miles. Grand Banks is big banks. Then we go on what we call the Western Banks. And when we get on the banks, we'd anchor our mothership, and we'd leave the mothership in dory, take so much gear a dory. You had 4 tubs, 10 lines in a tub, that would be 40 lines. Sit that gear, and then you come aboard your mothership and get something to eat, take that gear back. Probably you get 2 or 3 dory loads of fish out of that much gear, and you come aboard and put it aboard your mothership. The day will be finished then, go down and have our supper. Begin well up for dark then, sometimes after dark. Then the hardest work of the day was just to start then. We'd have to dress that fish, you see, that's split it and salt it. And probably, to take probably, if you had a fairly good day's work of fish, to take it till 12 or 1 o'clock in the night before you get that dressed. Then you'd have to heave out again 2 o'clock in the morning for the bait your gear. Then you go down to have your breakfast. You'd have beans for breakfast, hot buns. Well then, when it began to get daylight, you'd about have your gear finished. Then you get in your dories again then when it began to get light, and do the same thing over again. One summer, we was 72 hours and never closed a hole. We was on a lot of fish, you see. I never ever did anything like that after I went skipping myself. You know, I kept them up the first 24 hours. But at them times, you know, there was nothing you could go at to make so much money in such a short time as you could fishing. But you make a living out of it, you make good living, because you come home in the fall of the year and people will go and get their woods, their fuel and everything for the winter, and help to take that out of the ground and everything like that, and then to do a lot of caribou hunting, rabbit and partridge hunting and everything like that. It was in a sailing schooner. I mean, you had to have wind to sail around. But when it come too much, well, it could be pretty uncomfortable sometimes. We'd be on the Grand Banks. If we was anchored, the mothership anchored, and the storm come up, we'd just slack out 10-inch cable and a 700 or 800 pound anchor, and we'd just slack out half it, and then the wind still increased. You'd slack out whatever you had. And lots of cases, see the parted cable, and you go adrift, and then you get your foresail, we call it. You know, there's mainsail, foresail, jib and jumble on schooner. Well, you put the foresail up just between the 2 masters, and we'd heave her to. Then we'd lash the wheel to windward and heave her to, and she'd just go and, you know, and hit the seas like whenever she wouldn't be able to hit them right, but she'd take kind of bound to it until the storm would be out. It'd be pretty rough sometimes. We were one time up off of Cape St. George. I seen a sea come. We was hove to like that, you know, under a foresail dodging around, and it took the 11 dories right off a deck, and the deck engine and everything was on deck. This particular schooner that I'm telling you about now, that was the last sailing schooner out of Grand Bank. The owners was going to put an engine in. If I had my day over, I'd do the same thing again. I've worked hard. We all worked hard, not only me. I used to carry wonderful men. I always say I had the pride of Newfoundland.